Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Church Nerds Podcast. And of course, I've got the crew on with me. We got the technician, Norman Heath. We got Batman Brandon Travis. And we got some guests on tonight. We got our reserve nerds with us. We got District Elder RJ McEwen, Superman himself from Canada, which we will be in Canada in less than 2 weeks, y'all. So make sure
come on now. We're ready.
We'll be in Toronto for our national convocation. And we got my brother-in-law, Josh Sylvester, the maestro, with us. As you can see from his tagline, there's a certain superhero who's big blockbuster movies getting ready to come out. And he's considered the GOAT of superheroes. Obviously, Batman's going to
come on now. Stop it now.
No. You speaking the truth there. We know who the GOAT is. Let's not hesitate.
At the end of the day, there's only one.
It's only one.
And that's Jesus.
Man, listen, we got ourselves a good episode tonight. We want to make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the Church Nerd pages. Be a part of the Church Nerd congregation. Be a certified church nerd. Like I said, we got a good episode tonight. But before we get into that, Pastor RJ, we know that Superman, the movie's getting ready to come out, James Gunn's Superman. What are your thoughts before the movie drops on Friday, July 11th?
My good Justice League friend, Elder Brandon, he knows we've had extensive conversation on this. I was hurt. I have a DC hurt in my spirit.
Come on,
and because they got rid of my DC bishop, Henry Cavill, and I was hurt. I loved the movie. I loved them all. I do admit that they rushed it a bit. They rushed those movies to catch up, of course, as we would all know, to the X-Men and all the other Marvel side of things. So that's fine, but they were good movies, and Henry Cavill was a good movie, and they were about to come back with it was a good setup. The Rock worked this thing. He worked what was it again? The Superman versus Black Adam.
Black Adam.
Listen, that would have been at least entertaining to see The Rock and Cable go head to head. But I left the church. I left the DC church for a bit because my heart was broken, and I said I wouldn't open up again. But God, but hallelujah, glory to God. But God, and I didn't want to, Brandon. We were talking because we were.
Because you found hope. You found hope in another. You found hope in another.
No, right?
Your hope is built.
Nothing less. I still don't like the suit. The new James Gunn Superman suit. However, I've heard their explanation. I've heard that they're keeping it corny on purpose. It's not supposed to be the dark-edged style of the previous. I saw the other trailers after the flight scene, which was originally corny, but they made some changes to it. The acting between Superman and the new Lois Lane, I have to admit, is phenomenal. I think this will be the best, I guess, acting storyline depiction of a realistic comic book Superman. So this Friday, July 11th, I'm going to go with some expectation. But let me tell you something. If this bombs, I'm changing this T-shirt. Wow. I'm telling you right now. I'm serious. I ain't playing no games. If this bombs, Brandon, get me a T-shirt. That's how serious I am.
Hold on.
That's how serious I am.
Before you go,
this bomb. No. Joshua, I've given I'm old enough to go through. I've lived every superhero. I've lived through Christopher Reeves. I've lived through Brandon Routh. 2006. I've done it. I've watched the Harry. What's his name? Hawkins. Lois and Clark, rather, and the recent Superman and Lois. I've lived them all. I've lived the cameos. Okay, on Supergirl. I've seen them all. Listen, if this doesn't work out,
my lord,
mark my words.
No, not my.
I'm leaving DC.
Ooh.
Wow.
Okay.
That's heavy.
I'm serious.
What's your shirt size so we can get you?
That's right,
Give
man.
me a medium. Give me a medium.
I'll allow you to jump ship to Marvel, but you can't change up and go be a Batman fan in the middle of it. Right?
Batman's been consistent in the movies. He's been consistent.
The only good Batman was the trilogy.
He was there.
No, man. Every single the second.
He was there.
Okay, well, I'm sorry. I apologize. I gotta jump into this. The Batman series, as in cinematic history, has not been consistently good.
They've been consistent, sir.
Yes, they've been pretty consistent.
They've been consistent. Corny, but they were entertaining and they made money.
Consistent. Now I'll give you Jack Nicholson's Joker was a little. But
no, the Joel Schumacher era with Batman and Robin, and Batman and the other one. I can't remember the name of the other one. Forever. Batman Forever.
Yeah.
Those two movies were not good at all.
For the time.
No,
for the time.
They were made to sell
Batman
toys.
Forever, though.
They were good for the time.
Batman had a credit card that was good for forever. Okay, this man whipped out a credit card.
His money is unlimited. His money is long, man. Long money.
Come on, man. It was good for the time. It was good for that era with the technology that they had and everything. Yeah. It was good for that time. I could go back and watch it now and kind of laugh at it and have fun with it. Yeah. But I'm not going to watch it and be disappointed. I don't want to watch a movie and be disappointed for your hero. Come on, church. I'm telling you right now, mark my words.
Talking about Superman Returns 2006.
Superman Returns, he was a good Superman. Mm-hmm. It wasn't him. It wasn't his depiction of Superman. It was a wonderful extension of Christopher Reeves. He looked the part. It was wonderful. But the movie, the storyline was horrible. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I can't remember who wrote it, but it was horrible. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. If I'm lost in the timelines, you're already lost. Come on, man. Mm-hmm. Come on. But this movie is expected. I think they'll keep me on as a fan. But listen, mark my words. I will go over to Marvel. There's expecting some movie. Although DC has no, I'll go over to Marvel, period.
Well,
we have a whole bunch coming up.
I'm sure this movie will be a great movie. The graphics, the look and feel look amazing.
I think
the money is already up. The money
is there. But again, I've said many times on this show, if people don't come out to watch this movie, no matter how good it is, if it doesn't make a commercial success, it will spell the doom of James Gunn series.
He just started.
The projection of sales tickets is already passed. It's already passed. So they're good so far. If not, as you said, you prophesied it. I'm going over to Doom.
Well, like you said, there's great anticipation for this movie. You know, you got a new director, you got a new Superman, and everybody wants to see how they're going to do the story. You already seen kind of the intricacies how James Gunn is really playing on the human side of Superman, even though he's not really human. But you know, we'll see.
Lex is great. I feel just the look of Lex. Lois is great. She has that spunk to her. That's comic book. Come on, that's the animation.
Good too, you know.
Yeah, she's challenging him a little bit, making him think. He's not the same grandiose, but he has that flavor. He's still that Superman that's going to like save the cat from the tree. You know what I mean? Help the grandma cross the road. That's what you want from Superman if you're not having that God-like Henry Cavill grit style, right? So they have time to build that. I think it's going to give me a little bit of my childhood, which is, getting old now, but it's going to give us a little some of that both world. I don't mind that he's not as super powerful because all of y'all say he's overpowered and this and that.
Whatever.
We'll see. Whatever. We'll see what happens. Let's see what happens.
I'm gonna say so. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna say this last thing, but it's okay.
I think Batman's overpowered personally.
Wow.
Batman can never lose.
Batman told him, "I'm not gonna kill you. I just want you to remember who beat you." So
Batman's a Illuminati. That guy is next level. That's higher. What's higher than Illuminati other than Jesus? Come on.
So what's up, Jack?
Jackie Rose.
I agree, Pastor. I think I definitely the way they coming up how they depicted Lois, because that trailer where her really challenging him. When he said I saved or stopped the war. She was like, but did you really stop a war? Like for you to fly over there and represent the United States, and he had a friend like, no, I wasn't. I was just representing just good. That's it.
She keeps him accountable.
So because over time we've seen like some of the other Loises, they've been decent, but they still fall head over heels over them. This one is like she loves him, but she's going to challenge him at every point.
They're building the character. They're building it. That's what they failed to do in what was it? The first Superman. What was it again? I'm having a brain. The first Henry Cavill, Man of Steel.
Oh, Man of Steel.
All of a sudden, and then they're flying together and kissing. Really?
I rewatched Man of Steel, and I was like, that was kind of quick, wasn't it?
I mean, I understand you're rushing it, but like this builds the character. Like, is she wife material? Is she like, why are you coming at me like that? She's not just automatically wooed by his strength and his brawn and all that. She looks deeper. This is a lesson in relationships, y'all. We can go in right there.
You gotta look.
That's a good segue right there for sure.
You gotta look deeper.
You gotta look deeper.
So our episode today, that was a great segue. But we're excited for Superman July 11th. If you haven't got your tickets, get it. If you're going to go watch it. I think it's going to be me personally. James Gunn, he's been trusted. Guardians of the Galaxy series. James Gunn's Suicide Squad. He knows he's not going to put something out when he's not happy with the script.
Yeah.
Then why did he put out Creature Commandos then? Because that wasn't good.
Well, that was just a flyer hurling thing. That was gonna stick, because Marvel was down a head spin going, so they needed something.
Exactly, they needed something just to put out there.
That wasn't good, and he was in the title credits. I remember watching. He was sitting there typing.
I think they've done a good job. I think they've done a good job with marketing. They've done a good job with interviews. Yep. I think him bringing back the score of the original Superman added in those trailers definitely added a nostalgia feel that people definitely are going to tie to and want to go see because of that. So I think it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be a hit. I think it's going to be a hit. As long as the story makes sense, I think that's what matters. As long as the story makes sense.
Make it make sense. Just make it make sense. Things gonna be good. Other actors in it, Hawk Girl, stuff like that. And they're in there, but they're not the focus. They're in there, but they're not the focus, right? So you don't have to kind of go back in everybody's like history story and all that. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good.
I'm really trying to see what this kaiju monster is all about, but
that's weird.
That comes in there. I'm like, okay.
Okay.
If I could predict, they're probably going to be part of a montage of the things that Superman has done already, and not be applied to the story at all.
Yeah.
I was thinking, I'm like, where did this come?
Because all these, none of these things are connected to anything. It's like he's fighting the kaiju, then he hit a guy's tooth out his mouth, and then there's no connective tissue.
And that's one of the concerns I have is the coherency and the consistency in the story. So how are you going to put all this stuff together, or is it just going to be like a bunch of fragmented stories? So we'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see how everything's connected. We know that Supergirl is going to be introduced in this because he's getting ready for that movie as well. I don't know who his Batman is going to be. Obviously, Matt Reeves just finishes the Batman 2 script, but it's not connected to James Gunn. So I don't know what James Gunn's going to do when it comes to bringing in Batman and other superheroes. So we'll see. But first, everyone knows Big Blue is always the start of
bring back Christian Bale. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Bring back Christian Bale. That's a great segue. You know, he said, you know, that's how you build relationships, you know, with the Superman. So we got an episode that we're going to be doing. It's called the how-to episode. You know, it's going to vary from different topics. You know, some serious, some lighthearted. This was actually our Batman himself. This was his title. So Brandon, can you explain what this how-to episode is going to be and how we're going to break it down?
So for all of our church nerds that are watching right now, hey, if you haven't shared this, go ahead and share this. If you haven't liked it, go ahead and like it. Hey, do what you need to do to be consistent in the church nerd church.
That's
Amen.
Right. Amen.
So we're talking about how to tonight, and somebody's going to need to know about something that we're talking about. So basically, we got a couple different topics, couple different suggestions. We're going to get the nerds' opinions on some things, and we're hoping to hear yours in the chat as well, how to do certain things. And if you agree, hey, you agree. If you don't agree, let's hear about it. Let's talk about it. That's what we do on the Church Nerd Podcast. We don't shy away from the truth.
Right,
hallelujah, because the truth will make you free.
Are we saying that people could ask us how to do stuff too? Can they do that? They can ask us, how do you do certain things?
If they want.
Well, all right.
I mean, I'm not at liberty to share depending on the question, but you know,
you know what? Hey, let's go. Ask away.
Some people get too personal, but all right. So hey, we're gonna make this a little lighthearted. Open up. Hey, why am I not in the driver's seat? You always put other people in the driver's seat. That's right. I'm driving this thing tonight. All right.
Hold on. Okay.
We headed
just like Batman. Batman wants to be in control of everything. Go ahead.
Lest we forget, this is Illinois State, so we might be end up having church before this is all over.
Don't push me now. Don't push me, Reverend. All right. So the first thing we know, we got our Holy Convocation coming up, Growth 2025, Toronto, Canada. We're going to be there. Hopefully, we're going to see everybody there as well on the ground in Toronto. District Elder McEwen's already there waiting for us to get there. But let's talk about for a minute, how do you prepare for vacation? Specifically, how do you prepare to go across the seas, go across borders and boundaries outside of your normal homeland?
So is that for anybody to start talking?
That's for anybody. District Elder McEwen, since you live in Canada, tell us about how when you come across that border, what's some things you think about, some things you take into account, some things you do.
Leaving my wife. I'm too good looking to be single, man. I just make sure. I just make sure.
So tell us about going. Tell us about going to festivals and traveling. Let's start there.
Because sometimes before I go, Clark Kent goes to Superman before he leaves. Praise the Lord.
Hallelujah.
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 Yes, sir.
But I consider my wife and my family first. You know, I've traveled multiple times to Africa ministering, Europe, you know, the islands, and I always think about them. Make sure that you know, if I'm away personally, everything at home is still operating. You know, make sure the car, you know, has oil change. You know, everything, all those different things. You know, prior to, and you know that the whole schedules are not completely off. And then of course I've learned now. I mean, the first time I went to when I preached in Africa to Tanzania, I was like 26. And I brought like 8 suits. I'm like, listen, I sweated through every layer. I was so hot. I guess at the time I went, I was like, no, I'm not doing this again. Nope, it's not worth it. No, it was too hot. And so I travel lighter now than before. I still overpack because I'm always that just in case guy, right? But my overpacking is still lighter than before, if that makes sense, right? So it's for me, it's more so, you know, home front and packing.
Right. Okay. Gotcha. And one of the things you mentioned too was check out the weather when you go, right? Know what you're walking into so you can be prepared. So how's How's the weather right now in Toronto since we're headed, or in Canada since we're headed that way?
Well, it depends where you are. Remember, I always like to remind everybody, I actually live in Ottawa, right? Ottawa, Canada. So I'm in the nation's capital, right? It's like y'all Washington. But Toronto and Ottawa I'm 4 hours northeast of Toronto. So we'll be traveling a little bit more south. And Toronto gets a little bit warmer weather because they're a little bit lower, closer, I guess, if you want to call it, to the equator side, a little more further south. But right now it's warm. It's good. It's good weather right now. Good weather, guys.
Okay, got you.
It's good.
All right, let's talk about you guys when you going traveling. What's some things that you do to make sure your trip's gonna be good?
All right, I take that one. So for me, everything I do predicate first when I go to get tickets or anything, especially since I have small children, make sure that I travel during their nap times, because I have to take into account that if a child goes on this plane wide awake and you're putting them for any amount of time, no matter if it's an hour or even 5-6 hours, and they're wide awake, they're not going to sleep. So for me, as Pastor McEwen said, thinking about my family, because I have to take that into account. And then not just that, since they have a family, especially we're all traveling, the other big concern is I would like to be at the airport first. I like to be on the first plane. I like to get out the way. I don't like having one stops. I need a non-stop flight wherever I go, because I need to get there, and I don't need any packages getting lost. I don't need anything done. See, my wife done said it. She got a checklist. She got a checklist. I don't use a checklist, but I know. But she got a checklist. We go through it, because travel days with kids can be real stressful. Yeah. And then if your spouse is stressed, that stress adds on you. Yeah. Nobody wants to go on vacation angry, because the whole point of going is to have a good time, right? You don't want to leave on a bad note. So for me, making sure everything is good, with the kids and everything like that. And then, you just got to think about anything that could happen will happen. Because when you don't plan for failure, you fail to plan. So you just double check everything, double check your hotels, your car rentals, and then we're talking about going to Toronto. Make sure y'all know what y'all doing, because they talked about it on the cloud chat. Sidebar a little bit that if you're taking that train, they said it's a long 4-block walk. It's not our type of 4-block walk. So if you don't like a long walk with all your luggage and some ladies, y'all might have 6-7 different bags that you carrying on too. That's a long walk, trying to pull all those things behind you. So taking all that stuff into account, and then having make sure that the family's good and going to have a good time. So all that for me, that's what I think about when I go.
Well, Jordan says that you make travel days stressful.
No, hold on. Now let's clarify. I make travel days fun. If it's not in her plan the way she wants it, it's stressful. But I have a great time. The kids have a great time. Hey, I can't speak for the other one. I do my best. Pray for
Nor give us a different perspective, because you don't got small kids. Your kids are bigger. So what about you?
Well, actually, I do have small children, sir.
Well, I mean, not as small as his children.
That's very true. No, honestly, I just throw stuff in the bag and leave. I don't. I seriously, I'm like the weirdest person. Like, I will overpack, but I will wait to the last minute to overpack. So I'm always thinking, okay, what if I want to wear this? What if I want to wear that? What if this gets dirty? What if I got to change over here? But then I won't do any of that until the night before. So I'm extremely organized at the very last minute.
Yeah.
So that's just how it is for that. But I mean, because any other time, my mind's gonna go crazy. I'm gonna forget something. I'm gonna forget to pack something. That's just how I've always been. And we haven't had a problem ever or leaving something behind, so it's worked out just fine. So
man, Josh, your wife is in the chat, man. She says she has.
Okay, so listen. So all of a sudden, she want to start commenting.
Hey, we got District Elder McEwen here. If you need a little counsel session, we got.
So the whole point of a marriage is that we do it together. It's supposed to be our plan, not my plan.
Glory to God! Glory to God!
So
I'm taking some notes. I'm taking some notes right now.
All that talk. Now I see why you in Bishop Ford's house. Your background.
Yeah. So y'all, I mean, y'all know we supposed to be one, right? We came together. It says husbands clear to your wives, so we won. What happened to our plan? Our plan. This is together. Because at the end of the day, them kids gonna be gone. It's gonna be just us.
That's right.
That is very true. That is very,
very true.
I can't wait to get my wife back. I tell you that much. I want my wife back.
You want your wife back?
Wait a minute, just McEwen.
Kids took my wife, man. I want my wife back.
Ain't you the same guy that pushed your wife in the snow?
Yeah.
That was funny.
That was hilarious.
That was just to cool me down a little bit. That's all. I just can't help it. Jeez.
That's right. You better love on your wife, brother. You better love on that wife.
All right, hey, let's change it up a little bit here.
Go ahead, Jay. Oh yeah, I think you was asking me too, right, Brandon?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, knowing my wife, she's always gonna look videos up of the location that we're gonna be traveling to. So she's always wants to know what's the best places to eat, what other fun things. Praise the Lady McEwen. What fun things are in the area. My wife is always cautious, so she always wants to make sure that if we are traveling with Levi, there's gonna be fun things for him to do as well. But I'll be like, babe, he's 2 years old. He's not gonna remember much of this anyway. So let's just focus on us anyway. But when we travel, we do have a good time. She loves to try new things. So that's the main thing. When you're going somewhere, look up the destination, look up what's to do, look up the different food spots. Because I know in Toronto, when we get there, there's a few places that we definitely want to go. There's this Kensington Market that's like historically famous in Toronto. They got a few cool food shops down there that we definitely want to go to. So yeah, wherever you're going, try to look up, what's fun in the area.
Come on.
So you definitely want to. So basically, what we're telling you, if you're going to travel, you definitely want to have a plan. Don't just let it
have a plan.
Like
gotta have a plan.
There the last minute.
Okay, wait. What to the spirit of adventure? Just go out there and just discover things.
I would say that
you can plan that.
Yes, you can just go out there and just go. I call it the Abrahamic way of traveling. You just go.
No, the way the world is now, you can't do that no more. You just never know what you're walking into.
Well, if the Lord is leading you, then everything is fine. Go
walk by faith. Walk by faith.
All right.
Lord, lead me in a direction. Just start walking.
Okay,
we're turning the page. lead me to a direction. You end up in somebody's house. Like,
right.
Lord, led me here to your house.
In your living room. How are you?
Excuse me. Do you know Jesus?
The Lord led me here.
The Lord
to
led
your
me
house.
I follow the cloud. And
wow.
Yeah, you're gonna be a straitjacket in about 6 hours. All right, moving on. Let's see how, and I mentioned this in our pre-chat, so let's talk about it. How do you tell somebody? Y'all know we be in church. We be in church for hours upon hours, praising God, shouting, yelling, spitting, all that wonderful things we do. How do you tell your brother or your sister that's talking to you,
Jesus,
when the preacher say, tell your neighbor, and they open up their mouth, and what comes from their mouth is not praise? How you tell your brother and sister their breath stink without offending them?
You take a church fan and start blowing it.
That's a tough one, but I like to serve my neighbor. I don't come to church just for me. I come to serve. And I know that, when, after a good heavy preach, sometimes it's the breath may be kicking like Van Damme. Aya, right? So I gotta, my wife would just simply take a piece of gum or, a mint or something and ever so gently just put it into my hand.
Oh my.
Right? That's service. I would do the same thing. Just hey, I love you. Just right? I guess just serve one another. Serve. We used to have the mothers back in the day give the mints out. Right? We used to have those things. They took your gum, but they gave you the mint. come on.
Right. Make it make sense.
Yeah, but I mean, you could do little small gestures. It doesn't have to be, oh my god, your branch tank. You know what I mean? You don't have to buy the person a whole care package, deodorant for their breath and all that. No, I guess just ease it up, and just give them a little something and serve them. And I think we'll get the point.
Even if this is someone you don't know.
If it's somewhere where you don't know, well,
you go to a church. It might not be your church. You just go into a service and
you never said that.
He did. He said he didn't say that. He didn't.
If you sitting in church and it's someone that you don't know, what I would do is I would pull out my gum to make sure they see it and give me a piece and make sure they see it.
I'll take a piece and then, hey, you want some?
Exactly.
You want some? No, you want some.
No.
Yeah, you know you
want some.
Do you want some? Look at him right there. Do you want some?
So I would say
Norman, how do you do it? I want to know how you do it.
Yeah. Oh, how I do it?
Yeah,
I just give him some gum.
Yeah, just give him a gum.
Well, I mean, what? Why make a big deal?
But what happens when What happens when that person gets offended?
They shouldn't get offended.
How could you do that to me? How could you call me out like that?
Well, how could you do that to me? You're burning my eyebrows.
Like, listen, if you have
people get real life offended when you offer them
people get offended for everything nowadays.
They do.
You say you're so pretty. I'm offended. Everybody's offended. But you might as well roll with it.
Right. Okay, dude. We heard what said. You take your pack out, put a piece in your mouth. Hey, you want a slice? There it is.
That's it.
Yeah.
I think we should be honest. We want to go to heaven, right?
That's right.
Amen.
I want to go to heaven.
Right.
Tell the truth.
All right.
Get your brother and sister. Get the. Be honest. And I'm sorry. That's a problem in the church today. We're too scared even to tell people the gospel truth. Tell them that their lives are not right. Tell them. My God, y'all ain't saying nothing tonight.
Come on, this together.
Say, cry loud and spare not.
Oh yeah, cry out, spare not. Just to say something. If you can't do it for gum, what can you do it for? If you can't do it for breath, what can you do it for?
You need this juicy fruit more than I.
Come on.
This is the air I breathe.
There it is.
The holy presence.
Now here,
I agree with Lady McEwen.
Oh, go ahead.
I agree with Lady. Tell me.
Yes.
I don't want to offend nobody else. Tell me. Tell me.
Yes.
So I don't offend nobody.
Yes.
And you could be even slicker.
Here's the curveball. Go ahead, Josh.
So you can do real slick, right? At Pastor McKeown, you probably have them already, but you can buy like the Listerine, the little mini packs that you can carry with you, that you pop in before and after you preach, right? It's nothing wrong because it's like 4 or 5 in the pack. Give them a handshake if it's a brother. Hey man, how you doing? Slide that in there. And then they look at it. It's a small gesture. It ain't got to be nothing too rude to me. It's just like, hey,
wisdom.
Bro, this is just hey, I'm just trying to look out for you. It's just me caring.
We care.
I care.
Yeah,
I care enough.
Well, here's the curveball. So say you go up to the altar for prayer.
Oh boy,
I'm not the wrong.
And you gotta get prayer from this altar worker. Now what you gonna do?
I had a deacon. I was 14, and he was like 6 foot, like 1-2. And by then I was like 4 feet 12, maybe 5 feet. Man, he was a beast. He held my head like I'm like this. He held my head, and I mean it was like a straight shower. Just spittle with no miracle. Jesus, at least if he spit on you, you're gonna get healed. There was no miracle. I broke out all over my face. I broke out. It was just a straight shower. I'll never. I didn't go back in that line with him ever again. It's not worth it. Somebody might in my mouth. No, it's not worth it. No. No, I just didn't go back in line. I'm not talking about it. I'm just not going back in that line.
Yeah.
I sit on the organ. Nope.
Yeah. I'd avoid them. Different lines.
That should be a training. That's a training. You tell the person that's in charge of altar ministry, altar work, whatever. Say, hey, this should be prerequisite. Before you go up there, make sure your teeth is brushed, washed, at all levels. Breath mint at all levels. Chew on something. Right? Get it in there.
Water.
Come on, drink some water.
Put a listener. Get one of
you hungry. You've been fasting. That
Yeah.
You need water ain't gonna do it for someone. They need to drink a Pepsi.
Sometimes the smell doesn't come from the mouth; it comes from the belly.
Right.
After a long prayer and fasting, after you've been praying and fasting, some of y'all don't eat on Sunday mornings. Hiya. Some of that gastrate juices are coming up. My God.
Right. Make sure you have like a little. For Christmas comment, yeah. But right, get like one of them little Listerine strip packets in there that go right on the tongue and let it.
I mean, one time I went up there, I just had to hold my breath.
Yes.
I had to hold my breath. You know, I didn't want to take them out the spirit. I don't want to come out the spirit. And when my knees start buckling because I was, trying to get some air, they thought that's what they really went. Oh, ta. I was like,
oh, you were trying to get away. You were trying to get away. You were about to be not slain, but just like death, right? They're gonna have to have real anointing to raise you back up after that breath.
Right.
Come on, let's be honest. I think this is about truth. And sometimes you can even tell a mother in the church or someone, hey, child, or whatever, talk to them, give them some advice. There's certain things as a man I'm not going to talk to a woman about, vice versa. There's some awkward moments there.
Honestly, Pastor, that should be a training in itself. How to don't force. Spirit on. No. That don't make you more. That don't make you any more powerful.
Well, let me say this, Jay. There is a training. It's just a question of whether people go to the training or not.
Go to the trainings, right?
That's the issue. We can say we got training for this, and this. It's about getting people to go. But I'm gonna also say this: y'all much better than me, boy. If your breath stay and we in the spirit, I'm telling you, I'm out. I'm not there. Me and Jesus, I'm like, Lord, that's not it. Because you know me. I can't do it. So I'm like, hey, I'm just go back to my seat. Like, Lord, if you were trying to connect to me, connect for me from there, because he could be with me anywhere. I'm in the church, but if you're not presenting yourself right,
Jesus,
because that's me and I'm saved. So think about the ones that aren't saved. Like that's the thing we got to really put into
perspective.
Perspective. Thank you. Like you got the unsaved. For us, we being nice. The unsaved, man, your breath stink.
But here's the thing though, their breath might stink so much to them, but they don't smell it.
Well, that's my responsibility to tell you smell.
You smell.
I am a right keeper, right? You're supposed to lean on
for you to just go around for you to go around and not know what your body order or whatever order that you have and you can't smell, that's a problem.
It's an injustice.
Yeah.
It's an injustice. I had one of my wonderful spiritual sons. I love him dearly. He's faithful. He's probably going to be a deacon soon. He's faithful. He had some different kind of glasses on. And I said, man, I'm trying to get you married, son. Get you married. He's like, what do you mean, Pastor? I said, I'm trying to get you married. I'm going to get you some sunglasses. Okay. Right? But he's humble about it. But, I'm not going to punk, but there's a relationship there. Right. Obviously, that's different. Right? But, there's a way that, if you build something, I think you could work it. I think we could work it.
Well, since you mentioned that about, relationships and getting people married and stuff like that. How, just kind of like a two-part question. So how do you tell somebody that's interested in you that you're not interested in them without completely shattering them? And on the flip side of that, how do you end a relationship or a friendship that's probably 3 years or better? So you've been building some things.
How do you, okay. What's the second question? How do you end a 3-year relationship? Y'all ain't married yet?
Nope, ain't married.
I can't stand that. Let me deal with the first one. Y'all get me serious. I was enjoying my night.
Let's go. Let's talk about it. Some people.
This is one of my books called Finding Saved.
Here it is.
Okay. This is 6 Kingdom Principles to Maintaining a Healthy Dating Standard. You in a relationship for 3 years and you still have no plan? That's crazy. That's crazy. You get my first book, The 10 Kingdom Principles of Dating. It's on Amazon. It's God's ultimate plan regarding relationships. So, anyways, let me get off that. So the first part is how do you second one was how do you end the relationship? And the first question was what was the first one again? The first half?
How do you tell somebody that's interested in you that you're not interested?
Oh, you just have to be, I think we need to be honest. I think we just need to be honest. I think everything's out there anyways, right? You got OnlyFans out there. Everything's out in, right smack in your face. So there's a wonderful way, there's just a kind way to say, you know what? Not now. I don't see it like that. I would just love for us to be godly friends. I think that's probably the easier thing, right? But some of the problems that we've seen is not necessarily the rejection of the date; it's the leading people on, right, and then rejecting them. It's like, yeah, you're going to get that gentleman to drive you around, pick you up here and there.
Come on.
Pay for dinners. All these things. Come on, now, y'all ain't saying nothing. And at the end of the day, you're not interested, and he's interested in you, right? And there's players on the guy's side as well. Yeah, you know what it is. She's just what do they call it? A doorstop. She's filling the place for that moment, but he's not going to. You have the man have no intentions of wifing her. And you call yourself a godly man in the church context, the devil is a liar. Let your yea be yea and your nay be nay. It's as simple as that.
Well, but then on that same point, then just on the other side that you brought up, so let's do it from the guy's perspective that's pursuing that young lady. Like I said, now he's being led on. How does he see those signs that, hey, this ain't really gonna turn into nothing? This is, I'm wasting my time here.
Guys usually know. I think guys usually know because we have to work ourselves.
Not all.
Really? So
hold on. I'm going back to Palm Springs Convention. I won't mention nothing like that. But there was all of us. You weren't there, but all of us witnessed an individual trying to pursue somebody, and he just couldn't get the hint. I mean, and it was going on for 3, 4, 5, 6 hours into the night, and he couldn't get the hint.
Now, did that person know that she was being pursued? Did the female know that she was being pursued?
I mean, it's kind of hard not to.
Okay. She should have been straight and said, no, thank you.
Yeah.
Period. Because guys, we're logical. We're clear like that. No, yes. Not all that in between fancy stuff. Generally speaking, we speak and we communicate like steak. We dig right in it. We chop. Boom. It's straight. Women in general, don't get mad at me, y'all, but in general, they speak like spaghetti. This mishmash all in there. You got to turn, and you got to figure it out. The meatballs, the sauce, the noodles, everything. It's just a different communication. It's all being fed, but you got to be straight. Now, if that gentleman knew straightforward, right, right, it's a negative. Well, and he still pursued. He becomes a stalker.
My Lord.
Jesus.
So I'm gonna say this too. With what Jackie said, right, about what happened last year. I can get some clarity.
Wait, put her comment up so we can read it. Put it right up so we can read it. Everybody can read it.
So Josh and Darrell left me alone in Dallas last year. When this happened to me, had to let them.
So this is what happened. We was talking, me, Darrell, and Jackie. We were talking, having a great time. This brother walked up after church, right? Me and Darrell knew what he wanted, right? So he came and he had a pickup line. I knew it was a failure. Darrell knew it was a failure.
What was the
line? I forgot, man. It was real. It was real something. And he's talking about, man, that service was great, wasn't it? It was on fire. And then and something else. He was talking about his what he was wearing. And I was trying not to laugh. Because I was like, I'm just walk away. Because I already know this one is about to be especially because I know Jackie, this one's about to be set down gently. There it is. See, how did you enjoy service?
Oh, that was his pickup line. How did you enjoy service?
Why is that always the pickup line for some reason? I feel like a lot of them.
So when I hear it, I'm like, oh, okay, that's what you coming with. That's what you got. Okay. I don't have to fight anybody off. That's not worth me battling.
So this is my soapbox for this, and I'm going to say this in the nicest way possible. This is why we need to have singles training.
Yes,
to tell the people. Because how did you enjoy service is the worst line I have ever heard.
Listen,
I was rolling. I was trying my hardest to not laugh.
If someone wants to pursue somebody, why would you ask them, did you enjoy service? That just seems like it's like me walking up to someone and saying, hey, you did a good job parking that car over there. What does that have to do with anything? How am I supposed to know that you have any intention about going anywhere? You're just, how did you? Well, we're supposed to say the praise team did a good job. Yeah, I agree.
The conversation.
What a conversation! What a conversation! So this is again. I have
the problem, Bishop Norman. The problem is, and I agree with you. There needs to be training. Bible says that fathers should be teaching their sons, mothers should be teaching their daughters, and we need to see patterns of great, healthy relationships so that it could be ministry to the next generation. That's what the scripture talks about it. Mm-hmm. I paraphrased. But the problem that we're finding now is back in the day, and I can't believe I'm at this age to say this, it's just what happened at the time. But back in the day, a man would have to work his way up. And he would have to like build and have a Mac. Remember, we used to call it, you have to Mac that girl. You have to work it and be appealing overall. You have to like just literally put in actual effort. But that was a time when you were able to, you had to go knock on someone's door and say, want to come out and play? And then maybe take a rejection because maybe it was supper time or they had to finish homework or something like that. There was more of a social dynamic and understanding of how things go. Now, can I get your Snapchat? There's no dialogue.
No dialogue.
There's none of that stuff. You just OnlyFans. Everything is so accessible. Men, and we're wondering why are men? There's no good quality men out there. There's no good quality men. They're not trying. And I don't want to derail the conversation. They're not trying anymore because it's too easy. Mm. On the first day, they're Snapchatting, no conversation, and legs are open.
Yeah, let's be real.
Men don't have to try anymore. So they'll play the game until they're 37. And then when their money's up and everything like that, and they're appealing that way, they're going to date the 25-year-old. That's what's happening. So they don't care about conversation anymore. For these young cats, they don't care about all that. They don't, what? There's no, how are you? And look you in the eye and then build and then grow together. There's none of that. It's too easy out there. The marketplace right now in the relationship is a cesspool of foolery.
So
I don't know it.
Oh no, I agree with you. Go ahead, Josh. Finish your comment. Norm put up Sister Amen's comment too. So
I think this is an interesting question. What's a good pickup line?
Pickup line.
So
my daughter. That's my.
So like a good pickup line, like to be honest, like cool, everything with church.
Wait. Before you do it, so when the nerds are giving their pickup lines, and you in the chat, go ahead and rate it. All the ladies in there, rate it for me.
The Lord is, you go up to her and say, the Lord is my shepherd. He knows what I want.
So,
wait a minute, that might come off a little
okay.
So for me, I grew up in church, but being from Detroit, I also grew up, a lot of stuff in the city. So my approach on things was a little bit different. I never went up to a girl like, you know, how was church? To be honest, I'm just going up and being real. I'll be like, hey, I seen like, you know, you have a really nice smile. Like, you know, and then like compliment, talk, be open. Because sometimes so many guys can just be closed off or be so scared. And sometimes when you open up and you tell a real joke, you know, you be genuine. Like, because people feel off of, like they talk about now, your vibes, right? Like she could tell what your vibe is. Like, are you a real one or are you fake?
Yeah.
Because what women are looking for is somebody that's real and somebody that's honest. Because the thing is, some people be like, man, I don't see how, you know, the prettiest girl gets with that guy. Well, that guy was honest. That guy was open. That guy was real. And he did what y'all didn't want to do. He put in the work, as Pastor RJ said. So I mean, that's what you got to do. I mean, everybody here on the church nerds is married, right? All of you had to put in work. It wasn't no, hey, we getting married tomorrow. You know, it wasn't. You know, it wasn't that. Like you had to work for it. It wasn't just it wasn't a gimme. I hope. Go ahead, Pastor RJ.
What's up, Ben?
Everybody knows my story.
Yeah. That was your story.
My wife approached me.
Oh, she shot her shot.
Oh,
well,
okay.
Yeah. So it was really corny. She's like, I like the way you worship. And I was like, no diggity. Back it up. Like the way you worship.
You see a car headed to an accident. You like, you know, it's like slow motion. I was like, I knew where he was going with this.
You saw it slow motion.
What happened? Just to have fun. Just we don't. Like, I never did a pickup line. I never did a pickup line in my life. Just build relationship. Hey, how are you? Yeah, just be you. What's up, girl?
Right.
If you're too much, she'll already know from advance. You know.
Here's the point to that too, District Elder. I think we're so much like in church and churchified that we think everything has to be church.
Yeah.
Coming together, meeting people, and just it's just a regular thing.
Let's be friends.
Just talk to me, and then find out if we vibe, if we click, you know, all that kind of stuff. But we probably take it too far when we think, you know, man's always under a little pressure. Like I got to,
pursue,
stand out, you know, But at the end of the day, I think all the ladies would agree on here that if you just talk to them, get to know them, and don't come off, you know, weird.
Yeah. Okay. My wife, Pastor Loretta, came up to me. She was young at the time too, like, you know. But she came, hey, I like the way you worship, like generally. And I was like, okay. But she was youth leader, I was youth leader, so we exchanged numbers. Let's just say that, right? And I was dating somebody else, and so that wasn't my intent. But we kept the communication going years later when I went to school, a little closer to her city. And then it just happened to blossom from there. I knew she liked me, but, you know, it wasn't like she was pursuing, because I think that's weird from either end. But the natural friendship of the thing, it doesn't always have to be like so sexualized. Right. All the time. There's so much tension that God can't even make room to put that person in their heart, or vice versa. It's like, geez.
Big sis talking heavy in the comments.
His wife is hard.
That's good, lady. Me do what you said, and I bagged him. Now what?
I think like for me and my wife, she had put it in the comment section before I even let her know I was interested. She was already good friends with one of my friends.
Yeah.
So I put some feelers out with my friend and see where she was at.
Yeah.
And, you know, I went in and pursued her kind of, you know, on that tip. But I didn't just come out, you know, like, man, the Lord said you're gonna be my wife, because that line is wild. And I've heard
that's wild, man. That's wild, man.
People are trying to put God and stuff. God ain't say that. So but all right. Wow. Sister Amen said, we got any more for her? She said she only heard Josh. Is there any other? So basically, I think what you're in front of nerds and from just God needs to be normal, man.
Just be normal. I mean,
just be normal.
I don't get, okay, again, I'm like Pastor Q. I didn't pick up. I don't know. That's not me. I don't be like sitting there trying to practice being witty. You know, oh, that sounds great. You know, I mean, no, I mean, just be a regular person. Hey, what's up? You want to go grab something? You want to? What's up?
I'd have to agree. I'm not. I tell my wife this all the time. I'm not smooth enough to come up with a pickup line like that. Pretty much. I just try to get to know the person. I just try to make them laugh. That's it.
Well, I will say I don't start off like that, but as I keep talking, man, stuff do come to my mind.
I'm about to say,
I'm talking about when you see him and then you just go and just me. I'm too nerdy and corny to try to come up with something.
You just walk up. Hey, you know what? You remind me of Proverbs 31. Yeah. Who can find the rubies and such? What in the world?
I'm too slick. Myself would be more so for church nerds after dark. So,
okay.
We thought about that, but that'll be a little. That might have to be on a private site. You gotta,
that'll be on the Patreon. You can hear.
That's on the
Patreon. So me and my wife's story is a little bit different, really different than most. So I ended up coming to Wisconsin because my pastor I was under at the time was preaching out here and asked me to go. I was going to cancel and not go, but I was like, no, I'm gonna just go. Ended up meeting her on accident, had no intention, no nothing. I was about to leave and I was looking at some sound media stuff because like I'm into a whole lot of tech, and one of the others of the church had us exchange information. He said, well, get her number. I was like, no, I don't want her number, I'm just get her email. So then I got her email. So we were exchanging emails for a while.
Gen Zs, that's what we did back in the day. We got emails.
Got her number, and then it just blossomed from there. So like for me, when it comes to saying like putting in the work or having the pickup lines, I used to have the pickup lines. They didn't work. When I was trying to do the gimmicks, it didn't work. But when I put in actual work and I really tried, I ended up getting something greater, and I found the better part of me.
Hiya!
So for me to say like, what's the best pickup line? I'm sorry, there isn't one. The best thing is what you work for. Because think about it, we all work for something, and it's better than something that was just given and something that was easy.
10 minutes of the show right there. She probably got nothing bad to say after that.
You understand the value of it because you put it.
So when we're in Toronto, let me say that correctly. We're in Toronto. We're in Toronto, and you see the people amongst the people. You realize the church nerds have told you how to do it right. So if someone comes up there and says anything that about Proverbs 31 or something about how did you enjoy church and the service, just keep on moving.
Yeah. Don't do it. Don't do it.
I'm laughing. Don't have me there because I will laugh. I will laugh.
Oh, I will laugh.
I will laugh.
I'm laughing.
Okay, I will fall down the escalator laughing. Enormous.
All right. Hey, we're moving on. All right. So most of us, all of us, we grew up in the church, born in the church. So here's a good question that some people have. So the question is, how do I find a good church home? So and I want to frame this question from the perspective of maybe you were in a ministry, but life happened, you moved, and now you got to find a new church home or whatever happened. I'm not talking about doctrine. I'm not talking about anything like that. But what should somebody look for to really find a good fit for a church home?
Where can you work and where do you fit? Because the whole point when you look for a church home, it's not just, oh man, they have the best praise team, they have the best band, they have the best media stuff, because first of all, we're all servants. So, we got to be willing to work. Is there room for you to work and for you to grow? Because that's what's really important. Because sometimes it's like people want to go to the mega ministry in that area. Why? Because it's popular, it's big, everybody's there. But is that what God's calling you to be? Because that's the other thing. What's your relationship with God? Because that'll determine a lot. Because everything that we do is to work, and is your betterment. Because anybody can be anywhere, just to reach a title. But it's about growth, right? Because we bear fruit. Everything that we do is about bearing fruit, so that we're nurturing others so people can grow. So you have to be somewhere that's fertile for your gift, fertile for your talent, for what you can do. And then you also need to make sure that whoever you're under has you under their wing, I should say, so that they're helping you, they're molding you, they're helping you grow, because you're just like a tree. And if y'all ever seen bonsai trees in Japan, as they're growing, they take care of them by nipping out branches, by contorting them the way that they want them to grow, to help them grow to a better length, to stay alive longer. So wherever you go, your spiritual self, and that matters as well as your natural. because you have to do things that's going to help impact your life positively. You don't want to go somewhere where you're stressing about every service, where it's like, man, do I really want to go to church today? Do I really want to go to Bible study? Do I really want to make it out to Sunday school? No, it should be like, man, I can't wait to get there. I can't wait to be a part. I can't wait to worship. I can't wait just to be amongst the people. The point is to have that drive, to have the desire. Go somewhere where you have the desire to where I want to work, where I want to pick up the trash. I want to be the last one to leave out the doors. I want to wipe down everything. I want to do that to help God, to help my church to be where I am, because you're a part of that. You want to be a part of the body. You want to feel all in. You don't want to be half in, half out, sitting on the fence. No, you want to be fully brought in. So for me, whatever church home you're looking for that, go there, study, talk to people, interact. Because see if you vibe right with the people, because you don't want to be somewhere and everybody's looking at you with crazy looks, or you don't want to be somewhere and you're the only young person there. Like you got to take all these different things into perspective that works out for you, your life, and if you have a family of that nature, it's a lot that you have to really come down to, and then you have to talk to God about it all, so that He can direct you, so that He can lead you for what's best for you. Because otherwise, it would be blind leading the blind.
Man, don't fall in the ditch.
Josh said a whole lot.
Yeah, he said a whole lot.
I mean, but I think everything he said, I would definitely have to 100% agree with. I mean, the Bible speaks to us about using discernment, about testing the spirit to see if it's actually from God. As far as it speaks to us about stuff like that. So when you're trying to find a church home, I mean, you don't just run to the first thing to the first thing that's the biggest thing on the block or the best thing on the block. I mean, when I went off to college and I had to find another place outside of the church home that I grew up with, I had to go to different places to find the actual one that fit. And you find the one that where you fit, where you can be fed at, where you can actually, and when you're fed, you actually are consuming something that helps you grow and become a better person for what you're trying to be. I mean, another thing you could always do, I mean, not to pump the PCFI up, because I love the PCFI.
Yeah,
you use your contacts. I mean, we have churches in just about every single state out there. I mean, and if you want to say, okay, well, and talk to your current pastor. Hey, I'm going with the premise that you're leaving a church to go to another church and everything is great. Not you're getting kicked out of church, got to find somewhere else.
Right.
Yeah, that's one off. Premise of, okay, I'm in Michigan and I'm moving to Texas, right? I can go to my pastor and say, Bishop Gates and such. I'm moving. Where would you think? And me, we know each other. Where would you think is the best place for me to go? That's another resource that, and you're going with a person you can trust that can send you to somewhere that they trust as well. Because when we all know passing knows stuff that we don't know. So if I could say, hey, my pastor sent me here, I can at least have a good starting point. And that's all I would add to, Josh just took it all. So,
all of y'all, it's beautiful. I think the thing I took from Josh, which was pivotal, is how can I serve? Because we're in a selfish generation, to be honest with you. Most people right now desire a preacher, not a pastor.
Right.
They don't want a pastor, right? They want a preacher. They want to be entertained and they want to preach. And I'm not saying this out of pain. I'm just saying this out of like the facts. Right. Because currently, right, if you want, let me step back for a second. A good church that you want to be a part of, number one, not only do you must serve, what can I bring to the table? That's amazing. But if you didn't even bring anything to the table, at least that church should be a Bible teaching church.
Right.
That church should be an evangelical church, a church that desires outreach. That ministry should have training and development. In other words, can they train you for a significant purpose? In other words, there's discipleship there, right? For ministry, et cetera, et cetera. There should be something for your children if you have children in that context, because your children need ministering, right? Your children are in a secular school for 8 hours a day, 40 hours, if you will, a week. And you got to make sure that if you're bringing them to a church that at least is competing with 4 hours, that at least has something for that hour. Because how can you compete 1 hour of children's ministry, maybe 2, for 40 hours? That's another story. But have something meaningful, right, for your children. Just like when you're choosing a school. right? When you're choosing a school, how many of us are praying and fasting, choosing a school for our children? But you make the best wise decision for those areas. But the point I wanted to stress with all those major components, whether it's evangelism, whether it's Bible teaching, whether it's training, something for your kids, is that we are in a church epidemic, and it's bothering me. Right? It makes the Lutheran Church. The median stay in the Lutheran Church is 12.5 years. Okay, I grew up in my church 30 years, church that my father built. Right, almost 30 years. Some of us, you have parents to the same church. You're like grandfathered in, right? The Lutheran medium stay in a church is 12.5 years. Presbyterians, 10 years. And those are normally for people that are over 55. They just do things different. Okay? Check it out. Non-denominational churches. Non-denomination, which is now a denomination.
Yeah, which is
original denomination.
Right? The average stay for a member is 3 years.
Wow.
Jesus.
For Pentecostal charismatic churches, the average stay for the members are 5 years. Okay? How could you get planted? How could you grow in just 3 years? Right? So we're like hop, skipping, and jumping like crazy. I know we're talking the context of if someone moved or, you know what I mean?
It's all that. It's all the context, whatever you got.
Yeah, right? But like we're seeing like people hop, skip, and jump. And then if they stayed for like 8 years or they stayed for like 7 years, something like, we're like, yeah! Oh, it's like, you put in work, yeah!
Give him a plaque.
Give him a plaque, everything. A statue out
here. Hey, you're a tenure. You're a tenure. You made it. You made it.
I put in work. Are we crazy? Are you crazy? Are we crazy? How do you grow where you're planted, and you first grow down first? You know what I mean? It's like nobody wants to be shepherd anymore, and there's no growth. We're just entertained by lights, camera, action, and by our podcast pastors. By our come on now, that's who's pastoring us anymore. Nobody can tell us no anymore. Nobody can correct us. You don't want a shepherd. You can't stand that shepherd staff. You know what? So how is it that you're not intending to serve if you're only intending to stay for 3 years? Seriously? There are hypocrites there. Can you imagine you join a church and you're saying, you know what, this is my church home.
Right.
Bye in 3 years. Why do you think your marriages are like that?
My Lord.
Why do you think your relationships are like that?
No commitment.
You don't have a spiritual father. You don't have no spiritual father. Come on, man.
Got a daycare.
You have a demonic zaddy. That's what you have.
Demonic zaddy is wild.
That's the RJ going crazy. I ain't mad at him.
I'm sorry. I'm a stats guy. Give us the stats. Come on, because we're talking about how do you leave a church when you think it's time, God led. First of all, what's your intention? Are you looking for a pastor?
And then you got the things too where people are saying nowadays too, like, I can't grow here anymore. What do you mean you can't?
You've only been here for a year and a half. 3 years.
It's like, what's your idea of growth, and what have you been doing to make sure that you grow while you're here and
Have you been putting into work?
And the pastor?
Yeah.
So that all goes in the line, but that also, like, that's very true. Then we also look at the flip side. Is the church opening up the opportunity for individuals to grow?
Well, they should. Absolutely.
They should. But
They
some
should.
like to say, some like to say, stay the status quo. They don't want things to change. But when people come in, change naturally happens. When Jesus came into the churches, and we preach it, y'all preach it, you teach it. Jesus came in, and what happened? Things changed. things flipped. It wasn't the status quo. It wasn't just to keep on same old, same old. No, it was something different. The way he approached people, the way he taught, it was something that was different for everyone. And the point is that when people come in, sometimes it's they're leaving because things aren't changing. Well, it's like what Pastor Arthur, can you be the change or communicate it? Sometimes people leave is for the lack of communication. Did you go talk to your pastor and voice?
Absolutely. There's onus always on both sides. But what we're finding is that back in the day, people invested more time in discovery, right? I mean, we would as soon as something is kind of crazy in your child's school, you don't pull them out right away. Mm-mm. You get a job, you don't get it right away as soon as you don't like something. Right? So, and you chose that church in the first place. You chose it. So something attracted to you in the first place. If you're hop, skipping, and jumping, if you got to that location and then now you're hop, skipping, and jumping every three years in a Pentecostal, and watch this. Here it is. Joshua, don't y'all see, this is not the night. I'm still on Sunday morning mode. Y'all can't do this to me. Have you noticed, ladies and gentlemen? Have you noticed that when someone's about to leave, y'all got me venting on your podcast. Have you noticed that when someone's about to leave, they always say, God said?
Yeah.
That's
all of a sudden, someone's clear and prophetic about the direction of what God's direction is when they want to divide. No legacy plan.
That's real good.
Leaving gaps in the ministry. It's always God said when it's time for division. But I never hear you say God said when it's time for unity, when it's time to add thou to it. I never hear God said for solutions to bring more money in the church or to add more souls to the church or to help the young people. I don't hear God said that. I don't hear God said. Right? When it's time for marriage, I don't know. I'm so confused. It's time. I don't know if I should get married. I don't know if I should this. I don't know. You never hear God said until it's time to divide. So the average church attendance is 5 years because people have, at the end of the day, itching ears. We want to be entertained. Yes, we have to do our job as a church to make sure that we're in alignment. How can we not change and be prone to change if we're being led by the Spirit of God? But I know he changes not, but part of the thing is that he doesn't always change is that the fact that he's always changing. Right, y'all? I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all got me aggravated.
You're all right.
I'm out.
I can't go against what the district elder said because he has said a lot of great stuff that I would definitely agree with for that. For me, I would say it goes back to something Josh had said about finding the right fit. Right. Mm-hmm. Okay. If you are a person who in this season of your life, you're feeling really industrious and you want to go and go and go and go and go. Yeah. Maybe the right fit is not a church with layers of people on top of you.
Thank you.
Maybe that's not the right fit. Because if you have that internal drive to go and succeed, you're not going to just bust through the doors and become head of the department in a year and a half. That's just not going to happen. It's not going to work, because of the layers that already exist. Simultaneously, if you are a person where right now this is not my season to be working in my hand to the plow, then don't go to a church where you're always needed to do something because you're going to get frustrated because the infrastructure is not there for that.
Yeah.
So it's all about finding a fit that works for you, in my personal opinion.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. I saw a comment there from Amen that says people are addicted to that, I'm not sure if it's older one, but to feelings. It's all about feelings based.
How I feel.
Good question.
Pray about it. That's why you pray about it. That's the thing. I think it's a lack of prayer. Because are you truly seeking God? Like what Mel said, you don't hear God about nothing else but that. All of a sudden you hear God, it's time for me to go. But when he's telling you to stay, or he's telling you to fast, or no, give this up, don't do this, don't do that. Oh, you don't hear none of it.
Man, Bishop,
it's real easy to hear what you want to hear.
yeah,
Very selective hearing in ministry.
Bishop Morris,
God only says positive things. You know that?
Never anything bad.
Never anything bad.
Make
He
you
doesn't say anything
suffer.
negative.
Never.
Positive.
Never. You'll
Bishop
never
Morris,
be like
Bishop
Joe.
Morris' message today was praise and rebuke, and how both are necessary in the life of the believer, and how too many people live on praise and not enough people want to hear rebuke. And he said rebuke is what's going to keep you out of hell. But
Come on.
praise
Talk
will
about
lead
it.
you there if you just get
That's
praise
good, Mr.
from
Moore.
everything you do. That man was talking heavy today. So,
Never heard God say fix your marriage. Never heard that.
Yeah.
Never heard God say be submissive. Never heard God say stop cheating on your wife. Never heard God say anything else. But when it's time to leave the church, I hear it clearly, Pastor, it is my time.
Right. That's why.
What are we doing, church?
It's
That's why
not
accountability
about
is important.
yeah.
For me, accountability. Because like my thing is, we talk about it. Are you accountable for your own self? Are you accountable for your own actions?
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm gonna say this, and then I think we can move on, Brandon. I don't want to hijack the show either, but it's like we say that the church that as we said we fit, and now all of a sudden we no longer fit. So the question is, are you accountable for the things that took place prior to you having that feeling, right? Because my thing is, I'm really, really big on accountability because I want to be held accountable. Because if I'm being held accountable, that means I'm doing something better. And I want to better everyone around me. So I have to hold everybody accountable. So that because I'm human. Somebody said it in the chat. We make mistakes. We have our issues. We're not perfect. The church is not going to be perfect. And one of the elders in my church, he says the church is a hospital. It's where all the sick come. There isn't anybody that comes in here that's in good health. Everybody comes here to see the doctor. Who is the doctor? Jesus. So what's our job is to get them to the doctor. To lay it out, to bring in the patients, to make sure that they have what they need so that when the doctor comes in, he can do his job with no issue. And so we have to be held accountable to do our jobs. My thing is, you want to do the job without the accountability. You want to do the job, and then you want to all of a sudden, hey, I've been this. I just came to be a nurse. I just got out of school yesterday. I need to be the head nurse tomorrow. Like I need to be in position. I need to be in power.
I need to run this floor.
I know better than y'all do because you've been doing it for 20 years. But my thing is that's when we say, oh, God told me to do this. What if God did tell you to do that, but it's not your time?
Come on.
But here's my thing too. They cry about wanting to be something, but you're not doing anything in the place you are now. There's no fruit where you are now. So why do you think fruit's gonna come if we make you the bishop or the district elder or the head or whatever? You got nothing to show for it now.
Woo! I love Josh's analogy of the hospital. Yes, often the church has always been parallel sometimes with the hospital as well. And because there's broken people, we say we're relationally driven, empowered to serve, appointed for his time, comfort for the broken, home for the lost. That's what we say at the Reach Center. And yes, but to tag with that, I believe the church is, what happens at a hospital? After you get healed, what do? You leave.
You got to
get the cast, get the whatever, you end up leaving. But the church should really be like a fitness facility, right? Well, you're going for training, going to be developed. I'm going to the house of the Lord so I can apply those tools to go back into the world and war and to take dominion and to take authority to advance the kingdom in the sphere that I have. And of course, all of us are church people. We constantly talk about, positions in the church. Not everybody's for the church. 10% to 20% of the people are to be in the church. Is the church training and equipping people like Fit for Less or whatever your training facility is? Are we training to build you muscles spiritually, mentally, relationally for the world, that you could go into the world and preach the gospel, etc., 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 right?
Right. But Pastor McEwen, people don't want to work because what you got to come in. You got to go to the gym, right? You got to get fit.
No accountability.
I wanted to piggyback off of that. What you said about the church is more like a fitness center. Anybody that has been an athlete, trained, or even working out, doesn't your body start to hurt when you're
absolutely?
All your muscles are ripping and stretching to build up. So of course you're going when the church is a fitness center, everything is going to cut. You may come in feeling good, it's going to cut. Your spirit is going to get hurt sometimes because you think you may be doing something right, and then the pastor, not knowing what your situation is half the time, says something that is God driven towards you because God is speaking to you, saying like, no, you need to get this right. Period. Point blank. Right. So in order for you to be strong, you got to get beat up a little bit, but you putting in the work. Faith without works is dead.
Yeah. Listen to your coach.
So
listen to your personal trainer.
Yes.
Listen to your personal trainer is seeking God's faith, fasting and praying for you. When you don't want to show up, he still shows up on time, digging in because he has something, a meal plan just for you. Right? Social media doesn't have a meal plan for you. Your personal pastor trainer has a meal plan for you because he's in covenant with you to be able to raise you up. You need to work on your legs, your foundation. He has a plan for that through God. There's a meal plan for that. There's a workout plan for that. You want to work on biceps, triceps. There's a plan for that. You want to work on your cardio. Some of y'all don't have any endurance. You have zero endurance. As soon as you go through one little thing, I didn't pass. My exam is hard. Oh, it's my mental health. It's trauma. No, it's not trauma. It's training.
Yes, it's training.
Well, just put that. It's good for me. David said that.
That's
big on
to piggyback off that. Playing football during summer workouts, when you're working out, you have reps. Three sets of reps of bench press, 3 sets of reps of squat. So I need to have my reps for prayer. I need to go through my reps for fasting. I need to go through reps for studying my work. I need to go through reps making it the church on time. I need to go through reps traveling with my pastor to a different service.
Woo! Where's the commitment?
Where's the commitment?
You know what?
You are spiritually fat because you won't commit.
Come on, Jay. You can't drop the mic off of that.
Jay, you got a first word coming in your
you got a first word.
Yeah, you do.
Again, this is my I was late because this is amazing, but I would just add this one piece as far as that. You speak to the gym mindset, you speak to the mindset of that. For me, it goes back to that, the mindset. Romans talk to us of the renewing of your mind. Your mind. All that training you do, it starts up here.
It's mental.
Going to the gym, doing the reps, it starts up here. To Lord, cure us of our delusion. It starts up here.
Hey, so I will add this because we going, y'all. We going.
Sorry, yeah.
You started.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, Brandon, you started it.
Pain is indicative of growth, and if you're in a place where you might be feeling some spiritual pain, that does not mean that you need to leave that place. But something is growing in you, and something is changing in you. There is no growth without pain. In Jesus' name. All right, we're moving. We're moving.
Come on, Brandon.
This is our last one. And we're that was really good. Though. That was really good.
Awesome.
Before we go, real quick. I'm sorry. Station identification. Thank you all for joining us. I know this is one of our longer shows. Thank you all for joining. If you can, take a moment, give us a like, give us a subscribe. Yes. We are the Church Nerds. Share with your friends.
Send up real fast. Send up some hearts.
It takes all of a second for you, but it means the world to us. Thank you very much.
Have you joined the Church Nerd congregation? I need everyone in the chat say I have joined the Church Nerd congregation.
Yeah.
Let's see. Go ahead, Brandon. Y'all all right, but our last topic, and we're gonna try to, we're gonna wherever it takes us. How does a person deal with rejection? Now, this could be rejection from people. This could be rejection from God. This could be rejection from your pastor. Whatever you guys want to cover in your mind that comes to you, how should we deal with rejection? I like that. My wife put growing pains. That's right. Growing pains. All right. Somebody.
Okay. So because I'm like the only non-preacher on this episode, but it's okay though.
You are a preacher. You are somebody.
Well, I'm on how to deal with rejection. And this is going to be honest. You deal with the only way out is through. That's the only way. The only way out is through. You're going to get rejected in your life. No one gets accepted for everything. It's going to happen. You can't. Running from it makes it worse. In my personal opinion, how you deal with rejection, you find a way. Prayer, whatever it takes, find a way through it because you'll just be stronger for it. It's that pain that helps you grow.
So,
My God. Listen.
Yeah.
I got my preacher glasses on.
Come on, preach to us, sir.
I've had to deal with this. Preachers have to deal with this a lot. Don't you look good? Look at that picture. Put that picture back on. My God.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Amen. Amen.
Everybody put in the comments, rejection is direction.
Talk.
See, that's why I went first.
Talk.
That's why I went first.
I was trying.
Rejection is simply direction. Joseph was rejected by his own. That hurts the most. That hurts the most, by your own kin, by your own brothers.
Yeah.
But by the time you get to, what is it, Genesis chapter 45, right? He encounters his brothers again. The same person they threw in the pit wasn't the same person they met back in Egypt. And he said to them, I don't even want you to stress. By the time he reveals, he cries about it because he sees his brothers again after about 12 to 13 years. They threw him in a pit at 17. They meet him at like 30. You see what I'm saying? And he says to them, hey, I don't want you to even worry about or cry about what you did. He didn't say what I did because he's innocent.
Right.
Right? He says, watch this. The Lord had me be in this position that I can help you this day, because the famine hindered or affected not only Egypt, but everyone. And it caused Jacob to send his sons to Egypt for provision. Right? So they threw him in the pit, but they had no idea that God had a plan to preserve Jacob's family or Abraham's lineage.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So Joseph, who seeming to be favored by his father, and they got jealous, they initialized him. They pushed him into their own deliverance. Y'all missed it.
That was real good.
No, we walking with you.
They pushed them into their own deliverance. They didn't know that the person that they were betraying and throwing down. And matter of fact, remember, they were about to kill him. It was Benjamin that said, "Don't kill your brother." Right? And then the praiser Judah said, "No, let's sell him into slavery."
Mm-hmm.
So God worked it out. And so what happens is that without that rejection of a brother, he wouldn't be directed to the palace. And so while we're being broken down, disgusted and busted over people who have no clue what they're doing. Without Judas, you don't get the cross.
Right.
That's true.
Celebrate Judas. Jesus.
Oh my.
Say it one more time for the people in the back.
Celebrate Judas. Judas, actually, his name actually means praise. It comes from the word Judah.
Mm-hmm.
Judas means praise. Celebrate. Judas, the betrayer, is actually telling you what to do. How do you handle rejection? Praise. Because man can reject you, but God accepts you.
Right.
Right? And I'm not going to lower my heart and be melancholy and receive a spirit of depression over someone who doesn't even realize that they're helping me get promoted. Yeah. Come on, man. Your rejector is actually helping you get promoted.
That's real good. That's
because us as Gentiles, we were rejected from even getting near the temple.
Right.
I love what you said too. Just rejection is direction, because rejection is not the end, and
no.
It's not the end of your story, because one door closes. There's because there's going to be another door. If God is God, there's got to be something else beyond this point.
You're crying over your ex that long?
My Lord.
Really?
My Lord.
Really? You're bringing over your trauma of the ex to the good man that you're with or the good woman that you're with right now. You're bringing over your trauma from your last pastor to your new pastor who actually loves you. God used your last situation, the rejection of the past, to direct you into the bright future that you have right now. Get up and praise God. Stop your foolishness.
And I'm gonna say this too.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm gonna say this because I'm taking what you're saying. You're taking your rejection, the hurt, the pain. Is what is it? It's a burden. And who do we give our burdens to? What are you supposed to do when you have the burdens? When you're heavy laden, when all of it is on your shoulders, who do you give it to? You give it to God. And where do you give? You give it to him in your praise, in your worship. You go to the altar and you give those things up. Because as you're doing that, God is already working on opening up what's next for you. You get so lost in the songs because it's like, Lord, I don't see what's next. But that's the whole point. Where's your faith? Where's your faith? Come to me. He's saying, come to me. I have my hands open. I'm here for you. You claim that you love me. You sing all the songs about me. You know them verbatim, and yet you're not coming to me. I gave you. Sometimes God allows you to have that rejection. I want to see what's going to happen. What happened to Job? I love the book of Job and all. I'm paraphrasing, but all 100 chapters of it, because the man went through. The man lost everything because the devil said, "I can tempt him and turn him against you." Right. God will allow the devil to come in to change and to rattle your life. It's not easy. I'm gonna be real with everyone now. Rejection doesn't just come in love. Rejection comes from hurt. Rejection comes from the pain, and it comes from the ones that are closest to you. What will you do when your best friend said turn against God? What do you do when your spouse says turn against God? What do you do when you lose your family? You lose your children. You lose your house. You become sick. You become unable to be yourself. Are you still going to stay true and allow God to direct your path? Because we say it, God, direct my footsteps. Show me where I need to go. Tell me what I need to do. Well, prove it. I'm giving you the opportunity now. Where are you stepping? Are you stepping in faith? Because listen, as we've been saying, nothing about what we're doing is easy. Nothing comes simply. It's not a one day I wake up and all is well. It's going to be a path. I'm going to need to see the next 5, 10, 15 years. Where are you? It's not easy. And I didn't leave you. I'm not going to forsake you. In Psalms 23, we're walking through the, through the
valley. The valley.
Yes.
Valley of the shadow of death. I will fear no evil.
No evil. Why? Because thou art with me.
That's
because
right.
God is with you.
Hey.
If you don't get nothing else, God is with you.
You're rolling down the highway, man. I just want to make this point. And rejection too could be God's way of telling you, hey, you're going the wrong way. So in order for you not to hurt yourself, in order for you not to kill yourself, in order for you to not make a wreck of what you're about to do, I've got to send some kind of rejection to say, hey, because I've been trying to tell you, hey, that's not the answer. Hey, that's not the place. Hey, that's not the one. So
that's right.
Listen. So I got to reject what you're doing to move you in the opposite direction. All right, go ahead.
I'll just piggyback of what the preachers have said tonight.
My God, on today.
If you guys have noticed, does a basketball player stop playing basketball once he gets blocked during the game? He comes right back down the court to try to make the exact same shot that he made again, so it won't get blocked.
Come on, man.
You're gonna get rejected every single time in your life. I preached the first word sermon saying take a load off. Take all them burdens off. Everything that you done went through, all the rejection you've been through. He said, come to me all that ye that labor that are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. He got rest for you. Come on the bench. You've been rejected. Come on, come take a load off so you can get
rest, recalibrate.
Refuel your energy. Get some spiritual Gatorades. Get some water. And then so when I throw you back out in the game, you'll know exactly how to deal with somebody that rejected you the first time. You'll know how to put up the crossover and everything.
This is amazing. Amazing. This reminds me again. My grandfather, he was the king of parables, similes, metaphors, and as I get older, I find myself getting more like him. It's okay. But my grandmother in her house up in Detroit, she had a door on the second floor. So she had a two floor house, right? There was a door on the second floor, door on the first floor, right? The door on the second floor, she will always tell us, don't go through that door. Don't go through the door. I'm like, it's a door. What's the big deal? We go through, door was locked, whatever. Had we gone through that door, we would have walked out into clear air and fell to our doom.
Wow.
The points that we've been making tonight about sometimes rejection keeps you from coming or having a tragedy or having a bad thing in your life. That's real. That's
real. Keeps you safe.
It keeps you safe. Sometimes rejection will keep you safe.
Jesus.
Sometimes you losing your keys keeps you out of a car accident.
We talk about it. I
gotta hurt you to save you.
Sometimes that bad thing that you realize kept you alive. My God.
My God.
What about the people that you rejected?
Oh.
Some of y'all rejected a good man.
Watch it.
Good woman.
My Lord.
You rejected a good man that was just because he was 5'8" and not 6'1". Now you're upset that he found a good one,
and you
and the good one wasn't you.
Ooh, it could have been.
Hey, take it spiritual. Why some of you reject some pastor that was preaching the truth to you?
Oh.
Now the one that you got, you don't want to. You ain't doing nothing for yourself.
So before you complain about who rejected you, how about you come to your memory? Bring back to your memory when you rejected somebody, when you rejected God's word. Where'd that lead you? It's perspective.
Yes.
It's perspective. How do you handle rejection? Understand, it's simply direction.
Yes.
To keep you. The steps of a good man or woman
ordered by the Lord.
My God.
All right, man. Y'all hit that one too. We got to get out of here, but I want to because we'll be here for another hour. We got Mr. Edwell had a comment he put in there, being rejected by God. I don't know, Norm, you can find it. Yeah, he's rejected by God. Can one ever recover from a rejection by God?
Absolutely.
It takes time.
It takes time.
And so like it comes back to it again. It's commitment. How committed are you to God? Like, are you truly committed?
Well, here's the thing. So let's parallel this a little bit. I hear you saying yes. So let's put a little scripture in there too. So Saul was rejected by God, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Did he ever make it back? We'll take it from there.
Saul. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Saul.
So take it from there. Go ahead.
Well, I would suggest that he actually rejected God. And because he rejected God, when God said that he rejected him, he was talking about his that assignment, right? That was on. It's like, hey, he doesn't want me, so what am I going to do? Reprobate,
right?
So it's indicative of the, if you will, you could say the relationship, but also the assignment. It's indicative of what Saul already put himself in, if that makes sense.
Makes sense. But my question is still could he still recover?
Absolutely, if he repents. You see, the thing is, when we talk about can someone recover from, and it depends on the circumstance, that Saul is one situation that you could dissect and kind of like dig deeper into, theologically. But when it comes to recovering from rejection, the what one has to begin to consider is always the mind of God. When you're always in your feelings and saying, why me? Why? Right? And staying the victim of rejection, you'll never begin to see the will of God and the plan of God. And that's what Joseph was able to say. What was meant for evil, what you meant for evil. That's my trauma speaking.
Yes.
God meant it for my good. That's God's will. And so that I could save you this day. So that's what I'm going to do now.
Well, Mr. Geller, two things on that. Because the Hebrew word there for meant is actually weave. And so if you read it by the Hebrew translation, what the devil weaved for evil, God weaved for good. So beautiful. That underlaying and laying upon
absolutely.
I'm not going there. So you mentioned reprobate. So the Bible alludes to the fact that when God gives them over to that reprobate mind, there's no coming back from it. So then they wouldn't be able to recover.
Yeah, but are we talking about God rejecting them that way? Is that what you're saying? God's rejecting those individuals?
You brought it up. You brought up the word.
Yeah, yes. Yeah. The reason why God is saying, hey, I can't do anything with you is because they've chosen that relationship. They've rejected God. God is literally speaking to the fact that they rejected him. I'm leaving you up to what you want.
Right.
I can't do anything. I'm not going to force you to serve me. I can't. There's no recovery unless you make a decision to come back and to follow me. But I'm open. What do we want God to do? If your spouse leaves you, and then you tell someone, well, that relationship's over. Well, did you file for the divorce? No, they did, right? And so oftentimes is when God's speaking that language, he's sharing his stance on the decisions that we've already made. You rejected me. Well, what do you want me to do? But the Bible also says that when we are faithful to him, he'll be faithful to us. But when we are not faithful to him, he remains faithful, because faithful is who he is. Right. But I think
that no man would perish, that all would come to repentance.
Yes. So that's when we're talking about soteriology. We're talking about the doctrine of salvation. But when it comes to just to ordinary, not should I say ordinary, but the context that we're talking about now, we're getting all deep. The context, just the context of rejection in life.
Right.
You know what I mean? God has plans. He has a will, plans of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected ending. And so when we understand and tap into the mind and the will of God, it hurt me, but it was good for me.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
though he slay me.
That will.
I trust him. Yeah.
So, and I'm also say this, it's about, you say you have to understand and know God's mindset. Like, we have to understand what God is doing. A lot of that comes back to studying and reading God's word as well.
Yeah.
Because think about every like, because Mel said it, he said he loved the scenarios. But the thing is, the way you know these scenarios, the way that you impact this is by reading the Bible and applying it to your life. Sometimes you hear it in church, you hear your pastor get it, but you don't necessarily understand it. Take it home. Get an understanding for yourself, because when you come up to these different things, you won't have to serve that rejection. Because the point that he spoke on is, if God rejects you, you know how far you have to get to even get to that level of him to reject you. Like, that means you're just completely just not paying attention, not doing anything. Like, you're going the complete opposite way on purpose, by choice. So if you're going to do anything by choice, read the word, get an understanding, know the stories, know the Bible, so that when rejection comes, because it's going to come, because when a test comes, you have to have a test to have what? A testimony. So when that test comes, you'll have something to combat it with. You'll have something to stand your ground on. We talk about it, right? It's elevation works. What? It's a firm foundation. Yeah. What is your foundation? What are you built upon? Are you built upon the rock? Or are you down in the sand, in the mud? So when the storm comes through, you just flow right away? Or are you going to stand strong on the church that God built? Because he said he built it on the rock. So my thing is, where are you standing? Are you firm in what you believe? Are you firm in the word? If not, just study. Take the time.
I was about to say, Josh. I was about to say, Josh, we go to secular school in order to graduate in 4 years. We take everything that we're supposed to study so we can pass all those tests, put everything in our mind and write thesis and everything else just so we can get that degree. Well, why can't you get your degree in heaven? Study to show that self-approved.
Talk, Jay.
You do all that other work for the world, but when it comes to the things of God, all of a sudden everything go out the door, out the window.
Lazy. You lazy.
You get, as soon as you immediately get lazy.
My Lord,
you work harder for your job than you do for God. Ain't that crazy? And God has the eternal gift for you, and we going to do work just for a paycheck you may not get if they decide to close. I'm done.
Well, you know what? It has been a wonderful conversation. I'm going to throw this back over to Jay. He's going to close us out. I know Norm's got our video. Thanks for letting me drive a little bit tonight. I appreciate it.
My Lord.
Hey, we appreciate Brandon driving the Batmobile on tonight. Listen,
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, that was great.
we love everybody being out. Listen, Church Nerd Congregation, y'all was in here tonight. Okay, we love this conversation. Y'all was in here tonight. Listen, I don't know what happened, but all the preachers decided to start preaching tonight.
All the preachers started preaching.
All the preachers started preaching.
Oh, God.
All the preachers started. Even the deacon. Y'all got the deacon to talk a little bit.
Oh, that mercy.
People don't understand. The deacons can teach this too. Now, don't put the right deacon up there. The deacon can go too.
They the right
That's
hand.
right.
They the right hand.
They the right hand for a reason now. But listen, we want to thank everybody for being on the show tonight. We want to thank again for Pastor RJ McEwen and Joshua Sylvester for hopping on with us tonight. This was a good, a very, very good show. We want to, like we said, thank God for Brandon for this topic tonight. And driving till the wheels fell off.
Hey, we're still rolling, bro.
The wheels are still rolling. But listen, we want to remind everybody, listen, we will be in Toronto, Canada in the next few weeks for our International Holy Convocation. We go international, y'all. We will be with our district elder, RJ McEwen, and the Canada District Council in Toronto for our Holy Convocation. It's going to be a good time. I know everybody is excited going to Toronto. It's going to be a great time. The church nerds will be there.
Come on.
We might do a little something. We don't know. You're just going to have to show up.
Let's go.
The church nerds may be there, okay? We may be there. But listen, we want Norm to show our video tonight before we get Norm. What we got tonight?
You know what? This has been such an amazing night. I had a hard time pulling some because I don't want to ruin the spirit in the room. Because there's this.
I felt God tonight.
This episode,
Y'all felt fire.
I felt God.
My Lord. So I had to find a. Okay, I'm just gonna pull one up out of nowhere because I'm done enough talking. So y'all enjoy this.
Here's the new ultra-high efficiency dishwasher we're developing. This includes several industry-leading features. For example, pneumatic base agitation effectively eliminates rust stains, while the integrated power sprayer cuts cycle times by over 4,000%. Automatic door actuation promotes a sanitary, time-saving unloading sequence while reducing drying times through increased air circulation. Now obviously this project is still under development, so there are a few reliability issues we're sorting out. However, we have a number of new features planned and hope to release full AI integration and smart home compatibility in the next firmware update, so keep an eye out for more.
See,
that's what happens when I get in trouble at home.
So I like I said, I just found some on the internet. So this was it kept me winning. Rejection is correction.
That's a prime example of something looking good on the outside and tearing you up on the inside.
There it is.
Oh, come on, Jay. There's
Hey, that's one way you never have to wash dishes. So I mean,
hey,
just buy paper plates.
Get paper plates and plastic cups. You ain't never got to wash again.
Oh,
Listen,
Lord.
once again, we are the Church Nerds. I'm Jay Baldwin, Norman Heat, Brandon Travis, District Elder McEwen, and Josh. We will see you next time on another episode of the Church Nerds.
We are out.
Man, y'all was doing a Futurama tonight.